When most people come to the airport, all they see basically is the secure side of things, where the airlines, Delta, American, and United are located. You got your bar and your restaurants. Well, on the other side, where you see a bunch of planes taking off and landing, well, it's called the airfield. And that's where I come in at. Basically, we're here to make sure that the airfield is in compliance with the FAA rule and regulations. So make sure there's no cracks in the pavement, make sure that pilots can see the runway markings, make sure there's lighting at night so when a pilot lands, he can see where he's landing and taking off. And just making sure everything is in line or in tune with FAA rules and regulations. So like Mr. Ron, the airport director, and Robert, the operation director, they're here for me when it comes to anything that's dealing with my position, the operations specialist. There's 1,000 questions. There's a lot of things that are unanswered, and they give me, that knowledge. They reinforce anything, that's pertaining to the airport. And to me, that helps me grow. After high school, I went to college for a year and realized, that wasn't for me. That I didn't understand who I was. I didn't know what I wanted to do with myself. So I eventually moved back to Dallas. While in Dallas, I got a job at the local airport, DFW International, for a small contract company called Flight Service and Systems. I was their dispatcher. And while I was a dispatcher, they asked if I can go work with the soldiers as a ticket agent for R&R flights. While doing that, I remember seeing this pilot, and not just any pilot, this was a female pilot. So that was my first time ever seeing it. And I was like, wow, I didn't know I can be her. And she was young, she was beautiful. She worked for KLM, which is a Dutch airlines. And I remember saying to myself, I want to be her. I want to be her. While being a flight attendant, I got to travel, to 46 different countries, over 100 cities, and learn about different backgrounds, cultures, the way people live, and just learn how to appreciate life. And during this time, I picked pilot's brains. I was trying to figure out what was the best way to become a pilot. You had the military route, you had your flight school route, you can buy a plane route and do it that way. And one thing each pilot or each person told me was, if you want to be a commercial pilot, you need a degree. That's when I decided to go back to school. And I promised myself, if I do go back to school full time, I won't just go back to, just be in school. I'll go back with a plan. So I enrolled at ULM in their aviation program, minoring in business. I joined organizations to reach out to the local airports and anything that had to do with aviation. I was trying to be a part of. So recently I won a scholarship for LAMA, which is an organization for Louisiana Airport Managers and Associates. Basically, it's an organization that promotes education on aviation for airport directors. If FAA put anything out there, they would definitely make sure the airports understand this information and just anything that has to do with airports here within Louisiana. Once I got this scholarship, I didn't realize, LAMA was a big deal until I attended their conference this year. And, once I was there, the who's of aviation, as far as airport directors, your airport operations, anyone that's dealing with aviation within the state of Louisiana was there. While I was giving my speech for, the scholarship, I look over and I see Mr. Ron Phillips, the Monroe Regional Airport Director, and some of his associates. And this feeling of support and gratitude came over me. I was happy that they were there, that they could not only witness me getting a scholarship, but that I'm a part of them. This is my team. This is where I work, Monroe Regional. So not only aviation organization, but organization for women. How to get through jobs such as being a pilot as a woman. Because there are challenges. I remember telling my dad what I wanted to do, and his initial reaction was, why a pilot? Isn't that a man's job? And I was like, technically it can be anybody's job. And eventually he got over it and just started to support me and support my dreams. But it was his initial reaction which sparked me to want to join women's organization to learn how to deal with that. Coming from a small town, Monroe, Louisiana, most of my friends became nurses, teachers, social workers. And for me, that's great and all, but that wasn't me. And so when I started working at DFW, it opened up a new world for me. These people were traveling, going to different countries, not cities here within the United States. They were going to Paris, every other week. And I was like, wow, how can I do that? So far, this journey has definitely been, it's been hard, but yet rewarding. Because I come from a background where, my family didn't know nothing about this, aviation. All they knew was work. So traveling a road that haven't been traveled before in my family was definitely a challenge, a well-worth challenge. Because not only did I learn who I wanted to be, but I learned so much about something, a lot of people where I'm from don't know. And I'm hoping that I can open their eyes to something that I love. I love aviation. I love seeing, pilots, and not just pilots, women pilots. I'm hoping this interview shed light on the aviation industry here in Louisiana, because it's an industry that you don't hear a lot about. But there are so many opportunities here in Monroe or within the state of Louisiana that I'm hoping students, high school students, college students, want to become pilots one day. This is a great time to get in that industry. This is a great time to become airport managers and operations. Restaurant is just trying to keep it here within the community, bringing these students here, giving them the opportunity to come to this airport, will give them a chance to stay at home, keep everything here as far as, jobs and, within the aviation industry. Because, a lot of people don't know about the aviation industry. ULM is leaning more towards drones. Kids are trying to figure out, what do I do when it comes to drone? What do I do when it comes to being an airport manager? And I feel like Mr. Ron is giving these students that opportunity. So my next step here is to, make sure we pass our next FAA inspection. I want to make sure this airfield is at the top. I want to make sure it is good. Planes can come here and land, take off. I want people to be talking about Monroe Regional Airport. And I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of that journey. If I ever leave, I want people to know that I was a part of something bigger than me.